What's up guys, I'm Jake B and today I'm going to share with you my 6 tips for success in polyphasic sleeping. Now every single one of these maps to a mistake that I've made in polyphasic sleeping that set me back in being successful and adapting to my schedule. At this point I've been adapted for a while now. I've been doing polyphasic sleep for just over 2 months, and I wanted to share these tips with you to hopefully help you succeed with your schedule. So let's just jump into it. So my first tip is choose an adaptable schedule. There are a lot of people out there trying to get really creative about their polyphasic sleep schedule, and really it's laid out for you. A lot of people have done this already. There is a strong community of people that are experimenting with schedules and figuring things out, and it's strongly recommended that you choose a schedule that's already been created and just adapt it slightly to fit your work schedule or school or whatever you have going on. So I'm going to go through a few of the schedules now so you can kind of get an idea of what's out there. These are some of the more popular schedules, and I'm going to put them in order of the easiest to most difficult. The first one is segmented, which is arguably a more natural way for humans to sleep. A lot of people say that this is the way we would naturally sleep if we didn't have artificial light, and it's pretty easy to adapt to. The second is siesta. This is something that a lot of people in the world are doing already, and they don't even know the term polyphasic sleep. This is just something that's been done for hundreds of years. The third is everyman, and specifically everyman 3 is very popular. In fact, it's the schedule that I use, where you have a core sleep and 3 naps throughout the day. And then finally, there's Uberman and Dymaxion, and these are kind of the clickbait schedules. There are people that do these successfully, but they're extremely difficult. Less than 5% success rate, and you really have to go to some extreme measures to be successful on these. But I wanted to include them just to show you the full breadth of what's out there. And these are by no means all the schedules available. There are a lot more out there, but for the sake of time, I didn't want to include them all. So those are the basics, and the core idea being choose a schedule that is adaptable, that you can do. So in my case, I started out doing an everyman 3 schedule that I created with the naps kind of in some wonky positions, and it just didn't play out very well. I was having a lot of trouble staying awake until my first nap. Finally, when I switched my schedule around to a more recommended nap schedule, I immediately saw an improvement. So I felt a lot better, and I started sleeping better during my naps and feeling more rested. So that's my first tip. Choose an adaptable schedule. Tip number 2 is set multiple alarms. So a lot of people start out with these programs and they say, well, I'll set my alarm for this time and I'll get up. It doesn't work like that. The problem with that is that you're going to get very tired. Depending on the schedule you choose, you're going to turn off the alarm without even realizing it and go back to bed. So set up multiple alarms, set up an elaborate alarm regimen that ensures that you'll wake up on time, because oversleeping is so costly to your adaptation. So I'll share my alarm schedule just to give you an idea. I wake up from my core sleep at 12:30 in the morning. So I have an alarm that goes off at 12:30. I have one that's set for 12:33, 12:36, and then at that 12:36 mark, I have an alarm that's set up in the other room that's much louder that also goes off. So my phone will go off in the bedroom for the first 3, and then at 12:36 I also have an alarm that goes off in the living room. So if by some chance I sleep through all 3 of my alarms on my phone, the one in the living room will wake me up, because it requires me to go out to the living room to turn it off. Tip number 3 is related to tip number 2, and that is wake up with the alarm. And what I mean by that is never hit the snooze button. You want to wake up immediately when your alarm goes off. You have to remember that for your first month of polyphasic sleep roughly, you are adapting to the schedule. And any time that you deviate from that schedule, it's going to confuse your body. It's going to make your body think that you're going back to your previous sleep schedule that you've been doing your entire life. It's deeply entrenched in that monophasic sleep schedule. So when your alarm goes off at say 12:30 in the morning, you need to get up right away. Don't hit the snooze button. Don't wait until the second alarm. You need to train your body that 12:30 is the time you get up every single day, no exceptions. Doesn't matter how tired you are. Wake up every single time. And with that, get up with the alarm. And I want to make that distinction because this is a mistake that I've made twice now, which is that my alarm goes off, I turn it off, and I think, well, I'm just going to lay here for a minute. It's cold, I'm warm and cozy in bed. I'm just going to lay here for a few minutes and relax, and I'll fall back to sleep. So I've had a couple hour-long oversleeps from doing that, So when your alarm goes off, jump out of bed right away. Do not linger. Tip number 4 is keep your naps to 20 minutes long. Many of the schedules in polyphasic sleep employ a 20-minute nap. And that's a very specific time. It's 20 minutes for a reason. Don't make the mistake of thinking that 30 minutes is better than 20 minutes and setting your naps for 30 minutes. The reason for that is that you are training your body to immediately go into REM sleep. And that REM cycle is 15 to 20 minutes long, usually about 15 minutes long. You're giving yourself 5 minutes of buffer there to fall asleep, get into the REM cycle, finish the REM cycle, get out of the REM cycle, and then your alarm goes off. The issue with extending it longer is that if you go beyond 25 minutes, you risk going into slow wave sleep. And waking up from slow wave sleep is very, very difficult. So if you think about that time when someone woke you up while you were sleeping and you just felt groggy and you were groggy for like an hour after that, and they basically had to drag you out of bed, that's slow wave sleep. While you're adapting to polyphasic sleeping, if you're doing one of the medium or hard difficulty schedules, you're likely to experience a slow wave sleep wake. That's part of the reason you need multiple alarms, loud alarms, and that elaborate schedule of alarms. When you extend your nap past 25 minutes, you risk going into slow wave sleep, which can totally throw you off because you're very likely to oversleep in that situation. So don't extend your naps ever past 25 minutes and try to keep them to that 20-minute mark. Okay, number 5 is one of the most important tips I can give you, which is to have something engaging to do with your extra time. So if you're doing polyphasic sleep, you're doing it to get more time, or you're doing it to fix sleeping issues that you're having. If you're doing it for sleep issues, I'd recommend one of the easier schedules to start out. If you're doing it to gain extra time, a lot of people do Everyman 3, but that's a difficult schedule and you're going to be tired, specifically during that time that you're gaining, which is in the morning. So you need to have something engaging that you're working on that keeps you awake and keeps you excited to be awake. If you're waking up and watching Netflix movies, that's probably not going to work for you. So some things that you can do and that people do polyphasic sleep for is 1, studying. So you can definitely study. I wouldn't recommend doing reading-based studying until you're adapted. Reading is very difficult during adaptation. So try to focus on doing things that engage you in other ways. So writing or watching training videos, things like that are going to be more successful. Reading is going to put you straight to sleep. You can also do some writing. So if you've always wanted to write a book, you can start working on that, writing a blog or doing some journaling. Those things are really good. You could start a YouTube channel. So that's what I did. I use my extra time to create these videos or do research for these videos. You can do crafts, cleaning, like housework. You can do food prep. Those things actually keep you awake really well. That's one of the best tips for staying awake. If you hit a drop in energy, doing some dishes or cleaning the house is a great way to wake yourself up. And then exercise. You can do moderate exercise, moderate weight training or cardiovascular training would be the recommended exercise during adaptation, because if you do heavy weight training, it's going to increase your slow wave sleep requirements, which will make it more difficult to adapt. So there's a lot to unpack there, but the core thing to remember is you need to have a reason to be awake. So when you wake up in the morning, have a reason to stay awake. I've experienced this. If I have a video that I've planned for the day, I tend to get up with more energy and more vigor, and I just go about things better, and I don't hit those lulls in energy like I do when I wake up and I don't have a plan. So it's a really good idea to have a plan for every morning the night before, and that's going to help you to get out of bed and get started. And number 6, and my last tip, is do your research and know what to expect. And specifically, get information from multiple sources. If you're getting all of your information from one source, then you're inheriting the bias of that source. So make sure that you're looking around for all the information you can get. Polyphasic sleep is a life-changing thing. It gives you a lot of extra time, and it's important to give it the time that it deserves to understand polyphasic sleep and prepare yourself. So I'll give you some resources now. The unfortunate thing is right now the best resources are kind of buried, so you have to dig for a while to find them. When I started making YouTube videos, there wasn't a lot of great information on how to succeed in polyphasic sleeping. There were a lot of people like telling their story, or the big channels would go over it in a single video and kind of explain to you what polyphasic sleep is, but they wouldn't go into how to succeed or what to do to set yourself up for success. So I'm going to give you a couple resources here that should help you to learn about polyphasic sleeping and to succeed in polyphasic sleeping. The first is the Reddit channel. So this was the portal that led me to all the resources that I use now. So the Reddit channel is a great place to go and just get your feet wet with the community, read some other people's questions, post questions that you have, and the community there is great about getting answers back quickly. So if you have any questions that you can't find the answer to, you can post them there and get answers. That is where I found the Discord channel, which is a strong, large community of people trying polyphasic sleeping or already adapted to polyphasic sleeping that are working together to help each other succeed. If you don't have a Discord account yet, it's very easy to set up, and I highly recommend joining the Discord channel because those guys can answer your questions. They can even help you set up a schedule based on your needs. So I highly recommend them. Also, some of those guys from the Discord channel have started a website that is very informative. It's under construction, so it's not totally complete, but it is a great resource for understanding polyphasic sleep, understanding how to succeed, what challenges you might encounter. I definitely recommend that as well, and I'll put that website up here and in the description. And then there are some older resources that they're good to see to understand kind of the evolution of this method of polyphasic sleeping, but they're not great as a single resource for how to succeed. And I'll go over those as well. We should respect kind of the history of polyphasic sleeping and where we've come from. So one is the Polyphasic Sleep Society. This is an older website that hasn't really been updated much in recent years. And so all of the recent discoveries about how to succeed in polyphasic sleep are not represented on that website. You can go there to see what the different schedules are and get another perspective on some things, but this is the first page that I found, and I based a lot of what I was doing on the Polyphasic Sleep Society, and then discovered that a lot of those things weren't the best way to go about it. So I'll put that here just for the sake of history and you being able to see that. On that website, you'll see a lot of references to Uber Sleep, which is a book written by a blogger that was one of the early polyphasic sleepers. This is an interesting book to look into. I would not recommend basing your entire polyphasic sleep journey on what's in this book. It is not fully representative of the difficulty of polyphasic sleep or the schedules that are adaptable. And then the last one is The 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss. I really like Tim Ferriss in general, so I liked seeing that he had referenced polyphasic sleep in his book. It is not a major part of his book, but The 4-Hour Body is a good read anyway, so I recommend that, and it'll give you a little tidbit on polyphasic sleep as well. So that's number 6. Do your research. Understand what you're getting into and set yourself up for success. All right, guys, those are my 6 tips for success. I hope this video was helpful for you. I put out videos like this about once a week on polyphasic sleep, so definitely hit that subscribe button if you're interested in doing polyphasic sleep and succeeding at polyphasic sleep. And also, if this video was helpful, hit that like button. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck with polyphasic sleep, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.